What's up, guys? SirAllAboutMusic here, bringing you your question of the week video. Last week's question of the week was, what do you think of music in the past decade, and what do you hope to see in the upcoming decade? And I was totally shocked at the comments, really. You guys were completely polarized almost. Like, half of you thought that that music in the past decade sucked, and then half of you thought it was great. I didn't see a lot of people in the middle. I was really surprised by that. You know, I thought that there would be more people in the middle. So, let's read off some of your guys' comments. I didn't write any of these down. I'm going off of just reading them off the screen, so it's gonna take me a while to find these, so just give me, you know, some time. All right, first, Riven Dude comments a lot on these, especially in the question of the week videos. This is what he has to say. Shitty. My view is that since the 1920s, music has steadily evolved via artistic tensions and economic changes, but always through the music itself. In the 1960s, rock music exploded in a kaleidoscope of styles and ideas, but most of which later genres were built on. After the hippie sentiment died down, prog rock took over. In the 1970s, punk rock reacted to the elitism and lack of human connectivity that prog exerted. He goes on to, you know, kind of summarize the feel of each decade. And what he has to say with the 90s is, but in the late 90s, no natural evolution took place. Instead, the progression of music was put in the hands of record companies and MTV. And so basically, he feels that, you know, the music hasn't evolved through the artists, it's evolved through the industry in the past decade, and he's not too happy with that. And he'd like to see a return to musical spirit in the 2010s. So that's the deal with that. Philip Thundergrunge, the awesome Philip Thundergrunge. The incentive of money, I think, is ruining artistic merit of some people. They don't do it for the cosmic sonic sensations, but for the smell of some Benjamins. Really like that comment. Deepowinator. Death of the record store, death of making albums, death of the most talented rising to the top, death of high fidelity, death of radio, rise of earworms, rise of underground internet radio, rise of piracy, rise of hearing good music, not just through word of mouth, but by searching the internet and expanding one's musical tastes. So he hopes to see that in the future, and he's kind of seen that in the past 10 years. Let's deal with that. Let's look at another comment. How about KBS Rocks? I've really been disappointed in how bad rock music has gotten in the mainstream this past decade, and I hope it reaches a climax soon so it can possibly start over, or some new, fresh band can bring something to the table that is actually worth listening to for a couple of minutes. So, let's deal with that. I gotta find someone that has, that likes. I know there were some comments. Yeah, go look at the comments, guys. There are some people on there who had some good things to say about music in the past 10 years, but it was mostly, you know, mostly towards indie. I'm mixed, really. Yes, the mainstream hasn't been too good, but really, is mainstream music ever really good? I mean, if you listen back to any decade of music, the mainstream usually sucks balls. It's the bands that you never hear about that are really good. I mean, very few mainstream bands stand out, and they stand out for a reason. I mean, Led Zeppelin, Nirvana, stuff like that. These bands are popular for a reason. But there are very few bands that can have that claim. In the past 10 years, you know, I've really been disappointed with. I'm very mixed. The cool thing about the independent scene now is, because, I mean, this is an overly expressed sentiment, but it's very true. With the rise of internet, you get, just a variety of people with different musical ideas. And these musical ideas are just so varied, just so different from each other. And you can just go and you can find something that you would never be able to find without the internet, honestly. So that's always cool. But as a lot of you pointed out, you get shit bands in that mix. You get really shit bands in that mix. You know, even the thing that I really liked about the past decade was the garage rock revolution. That was really cool. I was really pumped on that. So yeah, that's my whole feel on this whole thing. So that's the deal with that. Yeah, so this is your question of the week.